Alright guys, so before we get to previewing week 16 in the NFL, I apologize if this video is shorter, and I apologize for a cough, a really mean cough. I am coughing up a storm. I'm still not feeling good. I feel sick. So, what a better time to go down to what is the most insane, stupid thing in the NFL. Why do we let fans vote and players? It is ridiculous and absurd that we let these people do this. It's insane. Okay, I've been saying it for years. I'll say it again. It's stupid. Alright, so let's get into my two snubs. First of all, Drew Crap and Brees didn't make it. That's 30 plus touchdowns. Okay, first of all, carries a terrible Saints team to, any kind of wins, scrapes and scratches, for God's sakes. One of the best quarterbacks to ever live the game, and he doesn't make the crap in Pro Bowl. Dak Prescott makes it over him. Are you crapping kid? Just because Dak Prescott's this rookie wonder doesn't mean he deserves to make it over Drew Brees, for God's sakes. Okay, Drew Crap and Brees. Okay, and here's the most we're gonna start with the ones that I'm really upset about, and then we're gonna go to the most egregious one. Okay, in my opinion, Jarvis Landry. Okay, I know everybody loves AJ Green. The man has 900 yards, hasn't stayed healthy all year. Jarvis Landry's over 1,000 yards. He's by far the best slot receiver in the NFL. He has the most yards out of the slot out of any receiver in the NFL. Why isn't he in the Pro Bowl? Why isn't he in the Pro Bowl? Why isn't he in the Pro Bowl? For the love of God. Okay? For the love of everything that is good in the NFL, how is he not in the Pro Bowl? How? How is Drew Brees not in the Pro Bowl? Okay, these are MVP, not Jarvis, but Drew Brees is probably my top 3, top 4 for MVP, for God's sakes. So let's get to the most egregious one of them all. Okay, Matthew Stafford doesn't make the Pro Bowl? Are you kidding me? Are you? I can apologize for my cough, but are you kidding me? This man is carried to the only reason they are winning their division right now, and possibly going on to the playoffs, for God's sakes. And if he does bring them to the playoffs and he does win the division, that crowns him, to me, in my eyes, the MVP. Everybody had questions about Matthew Stafford. Can he survive without Calvin Johnson? Somewhat of a patch-up receiver core. Marvin Jones has not big. I mean, he had a hot start to the year, and that a lot to do with Matthew Stafford. So Golden Tate, I love Golden Tate. I think he's a great receiver. But Matthew crapping Stafford, with all these game-winning drives, putting the team on his back, making throws when you think, how in the world did he fit that in there? How is he not on the Pro Bowl roster? Now, maybe I'm overreacting just a little bit, but it's a little crazy to me that he's not in the Pro Bowl. That blows my mind. That absolutely blows my mind. It blows my mind. It makes me upset. It blows my mind. We need to do without fan voting forever. Just take him outside and shoot him in the head. Okay? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? Ridiculous. So let's get to the games that I'm probably only do 5. I'm not gonna do the whole thing like I usually do. But so some of the games that stick out to me that I really think are going to be very fun to watch. I think Atlanta and Carolina is going to be very fun to watch. Carolina is a very fun team to watch. Both offenses absolutely prolific. Cam Newton's have a lot of people criticizing the man not having the best year. Pretty disappointing in some people's eyes. But he's also played behind one of the worst offensive lines I have ever seen in my life. Mike Rimmers is one of the worst offensive linemen I've ever seen. But going against the Atlanta offense, I think just for a fun game that the Atlanta Falcons have to win if they want to get into the playoffs, win the division. For Carolina Panthers, they want nothing more to spoil it for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. So I think that the ball's going to be thrown around a lot that game. I think it's going to be very high scoring with Julio coming back for the Atlanta Falcons. Their offenses with Devontae Freeman, with that offense line with obviously Jake Matthews, Alex Mack. It's very fun to watch with Hooper, Tyler Gabriel. I mean, you go all down the whole, what else can you say? I mean, I think that game's going to be really, really fun to watch. And then we go down to Green Bay and Minnesota. Now, Green Bay has struggled against Minnesota for the last few years now. I think they've split the series, if I'm not mistaken. Minnesota's defense is pretty tough, but that Green Bay, I'm gonna have to take this off my list, because that Vikings offensive line, that offense in general, is disgusting to watch. It's not their fault that that offensive line is that garbage, but that trade for Sam Bradford's looking mighty crap and stupid right now. If you ask me. Now, obviously, the resurgence of the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers is crazy magic, and Ty Montgomery actually looking like a franchise running back. It's been pretty dang impressive, I'm not gonna lie. But obviously, Jordy Nelson's feeling more healthy. Jared Cook had come in. I think he's hurt again, which is insane. The man cannot stay healthy. But I wouldn't say that's one of the best games to watch this week. I think it's gonna be a pretty crap and boring game. I don't think it's gonna be very fun to watch. I would expect Green Bay to win. Their defensive line is pretty good at rushing the passer, especially against the run. It's very good against the run. They have some wily veterans on that team, some playmakers. So I don't know about that game being fun to watch, but yeah. And then another game that really catches my eye, to be very maybe not. Yeah, well, you know what? No, forget about that game. Let's go to Baltimore and Pittsburgh. That game's gonna be pretty fun. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're obviously rooting for Pittsburgh to win. That's gonna be very, very, very fun to watch. It's always I mean, their defenses are as prolific as that rivalry was in its prime, but it's still a rivalry nonetheless. Those players love to hit each other. The competitive. Just the faces you see, something like on NFL films, like you see a crazy face. You see that all the time when these two genuinely hate each other. It's always fun to watch a rivalry game. Not a whole lot of points being scored, but who knows? You never know. I don't expect a lot of points to be scored, but I think that would be a very entertaining game to watch on Christmas Day. I'm pretty sure. So that'd be pretty fun. Big Ben, Antonio Brown. You got Joe Flacco, you got Steve Smith. You got that Terrell Suggs, who's looking like crapping Terrell Suggs of old. You got the Steelers offense with Le'Veon Bell. Eli Rogers, Antonio Brown, Big Ben. Always a good game to watch there. And I'm just going through just in terms of the fun factor. Then you got the Arizona Seattle Seahawks game. Would be very, very fun to watch. These two teams another team, very sneaky rivalry. These two, I love Bruce Arians. I love Pete Carroll. They're one of my just personalities wise. I think if I was a head coach, I think Adam Gase, Pete Carroll, and Bruce Arians are so passionate about the game, and there's nothing you can do. Even if you are a Cardinals fan or you're a Seahawks fan and you hate the other, you gotta respect that. The passion is unreal on both coaches, and Larry Fitzgerald, Carson Palmer, David Johnson. David Johnson has carried a team 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing yards. David Johnson is probably my runner-up for MVP, and to be honest with you, man, it's very hard for me to pick between Matt and David Johnson, because if you just look at the impact, for me MVP is if I took that player off the team, how much of an impact would it have? How much are they dominating the game? Obviously those are MVP criteria to begin with, but if you take David Johnson off that Cardinals team, that record looks a whole lot worse than it is. Same thing with Matthew Stafford. They're not even in the crap playoff race if it is not for him. And you could put. I'm not knocking Jameis Winston. I put Jameis Winston on the Detroit Lions, they don't make the playoffs. I put Matthew Stafford on the Detroit Lions, he leads them 10 wins, for God's sakes. It's insane. It's crapping insane. How did he not make the Pro Bowl? Alright, so, in terms of a crappy game to put on Saturday? Prime time, by the way. Cincinnati and Houston. Who crapping cares about that game, man? Let's go watch Tom Savage play a terrible Bengals defense. Who the heck wants to watch that game at prime time? Who comes up with these prime time games? Because first of all, we need to get rid of Thursday Night Football. Don't even get me started on that. We need to get rid of these. We need to take the power out of these people's hands, for God's sakes. Another really fun game to watch is Denver and Kansas City. Obviously, that was an extremely fun game to watch if you watched the one before that. I can't remember what week it was, but it was an extremely entertaining game. Trevor Siemian, I don't really like watching. I think he's pretty crap, and I don't think he's very good. and one thing I really like about him is he moves around in the pocket very well. And I'm not trying to trash on your quarterback if you're Denver Broncos fans, or if you're Denver Broncos fans. But you answer me this question: how the heck does he have one of the, if not the best receiver core in the league, and that offense not scoring at least 25 a game? Okay, that blows my crap. Let's put Matthew Stafford on the Broncos. They're crapping Super Bowl champions. All I'm gonna say. We put Jameis Winston on the Denver Broncos. They're probably winning a ring, or at least getting an AFC championship ring. So yeah, don't know what the heck is going. And then obviously you got Kansas City. I really still have questions about that offense. That defense is so crap and fun to watch. You got Dee Ford, Justin Houston, Tom Holly, Dontari Poe, Eric Berry, Marcus Peters. So fun to watch, so talented. The offense not so much. I like Tyreek Hill's electrifying. So is Travis Kelce. But if I had to pick an offense to watch, Kansas City would be on my Spencer Ware. I mean, all those guys, super fun. They're electrifying in their own right. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's a fun offense to watch. It's a fun offense to watch. I'll give him that. Let's see here. Got Washington to Chicago. I don't know. That game's probably not gonna be fun to watch at all. There's not a lot of things on stake in that game. The Howard kid. I think his name's Jordan Howard, the rookie. How is he not getting more recognition? You know what I mean? Just because he plays in Chicago. I mean, man, have you seen this kid play? I mean, come on, man. It makes you want to stand up and clap, for God's sakes. And then we got Tennessee Jacksonville. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Marcus Mariota, Blake Bortles throwing it all over the park. Last time we watched these two play, not so fun to watch. It was one of the worst Thursday night football games I've ever seen in my life. Again, I think they should do away with it, but that's going to be a very high-scoring game with Marcus Mariota running around. Same thing with Blake Bortles. Say what you want about Blake Bortles, but he's fun to watch sometimes. He makes some plays sometimes. And obviously, what are you going to say about Marcus Mariota? He's one of the most fun players to watch in the league, and that obviously has playoff implications, division implications in that game. So first of all, there's stuff on the line in that game. You got Blake Bortles throwing to Allen Robinson, Allen Hurts, Marquise Lee. He's got a talented offense. You got Marcus Mariota with the deadly run game with Tyler Lewan, DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. The receiver core is not so good. You got Rashard Matthews in there. He's pretty fun to watch. Marcus Mariota is running all over the park. How do you know? With the division on the line, how do you not want to watch that? That sounds like a really, really fun game to watch. And then we got a tale of two young quarterbacks, Andrew Luck for the Indianapolis Colts, and Derek Carr for the Oakland Raiders. Talk about some stinky, crapping, smelly cheese defense. There's no defense to be played in that game unless Khalil Mack goes off, Bruce Irvin goes off. The Raiders' defense is a playmaking defense, but I still feel like you can expose that defense if you really wanted to against a prolific offense. And Andrew Luck, always fun to watch. Derek Carr, one of the most fun players to watch. You got T.Y. Hilton, who's having an amazing season, one of his best, if not his best. So the passing game of Philip Dorsett, who stretches the field. Andrew Luck's gonna be throwing it all over the crapping field. And then you got Derek Carr, the gunslinger from California, okay, who's slinging it all over the field. You got Mari Cooper, who's one of my personal favorites to watch, dating back to his Alabama days. Then you got Michael Crabtree. I loved watching Crabtree when he was in Louisville, for God's sake. Especially when he had a 49ers uniform on. He's a very fun to watch player. He's a big guy who can run routes. I'm still pretty salty about the Dolphins letting him slip through their hands. But obviously, Khalil Mack, I feel like the Raiders' defense is better, so maybe the Raiders pull out the win there. They have to, obviously their offenses, both of those offenses, off the charts fun to watch. And then you got the Detroit Lions, speaking of Matthew Stafford, versus the kid who I probably would take out to replace him, Dak Prescott. Now, Detroit, dude, these two teams, for some reason, Matthew Stafford always finds a way to march down the field against Dallas and win the game. But every time these two play, it's so fun to watch. If you guys remember the fake spike sneak, I think it was, that Matthew Stafford had, just watch that drive. Okay, that drive is one of the most insane drives I've probably ever seen with my bare eyes. And obviously the no call in the playoff game a few years back with Sue. If you guys remember, Sue was crying after that game. That's how much how competitive Sue is, and how competitive that Detroit Lions team was one of the best defenses of the decade, for God's sakes. So this decade's not even over yet, but you know what I mean. So obviously the no call, that game was really fun to watch. That was a very back and forth game. Matthew Stafford had an amazing game, almost brought it back. If it wasn't for pass interference, they definitely would have won that game. So there's a history between these two teams, two very talented teams. Obviously Matthew Stafford, in my mind, he's had one of the best seasons a quarterback has ever had in terms of really carrying an offense to literally win games. Has been unprecedented and crapping insane that he doesn't make the Pro Bowl. How does he not make the Pro Bowl? I just don't understand, man. But again, history between the two teams. I think it's going to come down to the defenses, who can stop who. Obviously, Zeke's one of the most electrifying. Dez, Terrence, Cole Beasley. If you just want to watch somebody run routes, I don't know if I said this already, but if you just want to watch somebody run routes, Cole Beasley is that guy. My point is, both two talented offenses. Matthew Stafford, it's not a one-man show. He's got talent on that team, don't get me wrong. But he makes a lot of stuff happen for that offense. But again, Dak's also fun to watch, running around, throwing balls also. Yeah, these two teams have history. Byron Jones. Now, in terms of the two defenses, if you look at their talent, I like Glover Quinn. I love Ziggy Ansah. I love Holinata. I love Darius Slay. I like Tahir Whitehead. I think that's how you say his name. He's had a really good year. So I like the Detroit Lions defense a whole lot more than I do Byron Jones, who I think is going to be a future star in the league, and obviously Sean Lee. So I think that game's going to be extreme. I think that game is a must-watch game, because this game is obviously some of the players, obviously Zeke, Dak, haven't played in those games. but that these two teams do have a history against each other, and I think it's gonna be extremely fun to watch. And I think you guys, if you guys should go out of your way. That's probably one of the most fun Monday Night Football games I've seen or have been excited for, besides the Texans Raiders game, which was in Mexico City this year. So that's gonna be extremely fun to watch. Now I hate to leave you guys. See, there's not a lot left. I've talked about most of the fun games that are going to be on, and I hate to leave you guys so early. I think we're like at 15 minutes here. We could talk about San Francisco and the LA Rams, which, I mean, two teams that, and let's talk about the Rams for a second. I feel so bad for you guys because your defense really is Super Bowl caliber and is extremely talented. You guys just have to get some crap and skill position talent, for God's sakes. Do you know how insanely, disgustingly awful your offense is to watch? And I'm not trying to bag on you guys. And don't give up on Jared Goff. He's such a smooth player in the pocket. I think he's a very smart player. He has all the tools in the world. I don't think it's his fault that offense is that bad. I don't know. Like I've said this before. You put Tom Brady behind that offense. You put anybody you want behind that offense. It's not the same. So don't blame that all on him. It's not all of his fault. Yeah, Jeff Fisher did a crap and terrible job of building an offense, or at least demanding for, obviously drafted Todd, Tavon. That's not enough. Just not done the greatest job building that offense. It's hurting Jared Goff's development. Hopefully it doesn't hurt him that bad. It hurts his future that bad. It doesn't scar him, he doesn't have the confidence. So yeah. Hopefully that does not happen. So there's not a lot of games to talk about. I feel like we've talked about all of the interesting games, and I do not feel good, guys. So I think I'll let you guys go. I think it's going to be extremely fun games to watch. Now, I'm biased towards this game, but the Miami Dolphins Buffalo Bills game, that's a huge game for any Dolphins fan. If you're a Dolphins fan, that Denver Kansas City game is going to be extremely fun to watch. Obviously, they're going to be rooting for Kansas City in that game if we win on Sunday, or Saturday, if we win on Saturday. But obviously that game, what Adam Gase has done in terms of coaching the Dolphins and turning that program around down there and culture changing the whole thing, it's been one of the best coaching jobs I have seen in forever. It's been some time since I've seen that big of an impact, a coach have that big of an impact, probably since Kansas City when Andy Reid got there, and that wasn't even hard for him because they had talent there. But that's probably the best I've seen since then. Since that was a long time ago too. So yeah, it's gonna be a very fun week on Saturday. It's gonna be very fun. I guess we could talk about the Thursday night the game before we go. Let's talk about that game before we go. So the Giants go against the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a chance to knock off the Eagles and clinch their playoff berth, and maybe even try to win that division. But obviously, things do not go well for Eli Manning. Throws a pick six to Malcolm Jenkins early on in that game. The Giants defense struggled. Olivier Vernon had an amazing game. But Carson Wentz, who to me, when I look at a young quarterback, I look at the talent around him and how well he plays within the talent. Now, if the talent is lesser and he elevates it, which I think is what Carson Wentz is doing, I think you have nothing but bright things ahead. So Carson Wentz gets 2 huge thumbs up for me. Some of the plays he made on that Thursday Night Football game was just like, if you paid to go watch that game, that alone, I mean, some of the moves he made to make 2 people miss, and it's amazing. Carson Wentz is an amazing quarterback, extremely fun to watch. 6'5", he can run like a deer. So yeah, if you're an Eagles fan, you have nothing but good things to look forward to there. So that is going to be it, guys. I am Skyx83. Hopefully the next video we do is going to be longer when we review the week and what happens. And I can't wait to catch you guys next time, and I'll see you guys in